All right, guys, let's see what's going off the freeway here. Almost every day I come this way, I seem to see several people kind of wandering around with nothing to do. It's really sad. We're here in Coronita, which is a part of Corona. In fact, I didn't even know there was such a thing until somebody commented on the last video in Corona. Another one of those lovely unincorporated cities that nobody really wants to take responsibility for, but they do collect their tax dollars and give you an address that says Corona. So it is quite interesting. Well, it seems today that we're quite unlucky. Typically right here, there is more than one person hanging out, but don't be disappointed. There's plenty more to see here, and I'll show you a little bit more later. Just thought I'd get this intro clip in because I was hoping to see what I normally see. Oh, maybe this is one guy here. I don't know. Not really sure about him. He looked like maybe he was just walking somewhere from the local neighborhoods or something, but I think it's because this old golf course right here that's completely gone. I actually played golf on that course many years ago. That's been closed for a long time, is a haven for them to camp. So anyway, and maybe they just went through and did a sweep and got rid of them. Same thing. This is the same golf course right here. Or no, that isn't. No, it's not. Yeah, this golf course kind of runs through these housing section right over here. So it's kind of sad that that place closed. It was a cool little golf course. But anyway, we'll look around the city and see what else, due to the great California state laws, has created such turmoil. Let's take a look at what's happened in other parts of Corona that we didn't cover last time. Like Coronita and El Cerrito. El Cerrito's lovely. You're gonna love it. I'll talk to you guys a bit later in the video. So Corona is a nicer city. I mean, there's a lot of nicer areas in the city, but we're not gonna go to those areas. We're going to the interesting areas like these. Look at that. That's just awful that they closed that golf course. This whole area just really kind of got a little rough since then. I mean, it's still pretty decent. There's some decent homes in through here, but you know, there is a lot of homeless that roam around through here, so you do have some crime issues. So there is that. Now you can see, I actually remember playing golf going through here, and it's just gone. Nobody ever took that up again. I forget what the name of it was. Maybe somebody can comment that below. I mean, Corona is pretty expensive. Wow, is that place vacant? Maybe. Yeah, it's a nice commute to Orange County. You know, get 2.5 hours in traffic if you leave at the right time in the morning, which is absolutely desirable. And the people that have to do it every day, it's, you know, very unfortunate for them. Wonder what happened to the grass there. Guy across the street there had security camera in use. Like, they don't have any problems, I'm sure. Again, looks can be deceiving. That golf course, man, this was, God, I'm trying to remember back when I played there. It's probably in the 80s. I think it's been closed since then. The lovely Coronita. And I think this is like a lot of homeless just use this as a walk place to go through. Because it seems like they're out there in that one area I was showing you near the freeway, and then up ahead there's some too. Yeah, in the Coronita area, you see a lot more dirt yards and, you know, yard parking and that sort of thing. But still, again, it's not a bad area really to live. It's not terribly bad. It's just like there's this sort of thing here. You know, a lot of cars in the yard, a lot of people living in one home, unfortunately, in some of the houses. Again, not all of them are that way. A lot of, I noticed a lot of trash in the yard back there and that sort of thing. Again, not as bad as some of the other cities we've seen. Like, that's just kind of looking a little bad with the cars in the yard, sort of thing. Yeah. So the same pattern seems to head out through downtown. Again, I'm not seeing the homeless today, but just a few days ago I was here and there was 4 or 5 under the bridge that I drove under. going over to the auto center. But again, they come, the cops come or whatever, and they push him out. And wow, looks like a motorhome or a mobile home like fell over. What a drag, taking up the whole road. And that poor hotel there, I think the city or state, shoves them in there, and they jack the whole place up. And a lot of those hotels have had to sue the state of California for the damages that they do putting homeless people in a hotel. I mean, you got people that live in like absolute filth and throw trash on the ground, and you figure, oh well, put them in housing and that's going to help them not do that. Not really. That just doesn't work out, guys. They need some sort of a facility to put them in, to help them learn how to get back on their feet. And then some of them just aren't. No matter what you do, they're just not going to get better. And looks like a feller over here. One of them. Yeah. And a few up here. So they kind of migrated this direction today. Sometimes I'll just see him standing in one place and not moving at all. And this lady here's on a walker, and she's got some sort of twitch going on. Horrible. But if they had facilities, to put them in to rehabilitate them, some of them you probably could. Most of them you're probably not going to be able to. And then they should have some sort of a facility that houses them from there and keeps them from roaming around society and wrecking things and that sort of thing, to keep them from hurting themselves and other people. So it needs to happen. Of course, the state of California doesn't want to do that because it costs money, and they're really about money. Let's raise taxes, tell them it's for the homeless, and give ourselves pay raises. Great idea, right? That's what they do. They get some facility started by the government, and then they use all this government money to fund it. Some contractor gets uber extra money for doing the job, and lo and behold, this ghosting kickback goes into some account to the wife's charity, and she draws a salary from that charity. Lovely how they do that. The Democrats are famous for doing this stuff. Look at this place is shut down. Holy mackerel. Wonder what bank that was. Looks terrible. Bank of America is closing lots of, oh, look at that. The Pizza Hut's got broken glass. Some of those fellers doing things at night that, pretty undesirable. A couple of them there with all their belongings in a bag, dragging it along. What a drag. The good old downtown area of Corona has just become a wrecking ball from homeless. And you too can thank the state of California for making laws to protect them. Like, they just robbed somebody. Just if it's under $950, you just get a get out of jail free card. It's lovely. Wow, the signage, did that burnt down? I don't know. Sure does look bad. I think that Thai place is closed now. It used to be open. All the pandemic related restrictions, I'm sure, helped that place stay open. Right. While guys like Gavin Newsom go out to $300 dinners on the state's tax dollar money. It's actually your money he spent. With no mask on, with his buddies during the time when he was telling everyone to wear a mask. But people still re-elected him. I just think it's great. This is an area I didn't travel last time. The stucco's kind of falling off of that place. Of course, it doesn't have central air. It had a wall air conditioner unit. Obviously, people can't afford that sort of thing, and probably the landlords are just collecting rent on these places, I'm sure. But it's just lovely. There's no crime around here, I'm sure. Nothing. All the area around what they call Circle City is a little sketchy. This is the circle that we're on right now. It used to be an old racetrack. And all the housing that's around it, the older housing, are typically rentals or, lower income people. And of course, they're forced to live in homes like this because, that's what they have to do to survive in this state. It is absolutely great. I think you guys all should start voting Democrat so you can enjoy this sort of thing with nice vehicles like this one. And homes that are fenced in the front yard to keep people out with beware of the dog in front. And cars out front with flat tires and no grill. That's lovely. Again, think I'm kidding? No. Indications that there's no crime around here. Especially things like this car. Wow. Look at that thing. I'm sure he's never doing anything illegal in that. At least when it was running. Maybe it's all dirty sitting there because he's in jail. You just don't know around here. You just need to do like the Democrats do. Teach the society that if they do something illegal, they have no penalty for it. So then they just start doing illegal things. It's lovely. Well, as you go more south, it starts to get a little bit better, of course. You know, some are hit and miss. The pool in the front yard's quite interesting. But yeah, it's a sight to see, for sure. Really cool old architecture wrecked by tenants that are getting upset with their landlord. My landlord's getting rich on me. I'm going to vote Democrat so they can help me. Do you really think that the Democrats are going to help you? Don't be fooled. They're really good at doing one thing: lying, cheating, stealing, and getting your tax dollars. It's lovely to vote Democrat. But Mike, the Republicans do the same thing. No, not exactly the same way. Democrats love to make laws. When you make laws, you can actually, what they do is they'll lobby, go to these lobbyists and get money for making a new law. It's really hard if you have an incentive, because you have no leverage when you give somebody incentives. That is the way that Republicans typically do things, through incentives, not making laws. For instance, an incentive to put solar panels on your house, of a tax break. That's a Republican type way to do it. Like the state of California, the Democratic state of California has made a law to make every new home have solar panels. So it's real easy for them to take that law and say, you know, I'm going to make this law. Now, how much money are you going to give me, Mr. Solar Panel Company, for my campaign since I'm making this new law? And he goes, oh, I guess I can give you $250,000 or whatever for your campaign. And all of a sudden, the solar panels go up in price. That's how that works, guys. Incentives, you have no leverage to get things from people, to get lobbyist money. But with laws, you have incentive, you have leverage to get money from them. And that's how they operate. That's the difference between Republicans and Democrats, one of the biggest ones. There's a lot of them. It's no perfect fix, okay? The Republicans aren't perfect, but they are marginally better than the Democrats in that respect. Housing opportunities are lovely here, with a lot of duplexes and houses that are converted to duplexes. You know, one of the greatest ideas that California had was to make every house potentially into a fourplex. How do you think that's going to work out? Do you think it's possible that people are going to draw four welfare checks from the same house? We got a housing crisis. We got to build more homes, so let's just make them all into fourplexes. All they're going to do is take the same house, divide it into 4 sections, and put 4 addresses up so they can get more Section 8 money. That's absolutely genius. Let's bilk the government for more money because they were pretty stupid in putting a law together like that. You know, people exist in loopholes. That's how they survive, and especially when there's a lot of them that are made like that one. It's absolutely very interesting. Beautiful home over here. Very well kept, very nice. Actually, that is really nice. The fences and everything. As you get more south of the city, up towards the hills, the city does get a lot better. I'm heading this direction, so I thought I'd film some of this for you guys. There are very nice areas in Corona, and I don't want to say that everything in Corona is bad, because it is not. In fact, every city almost that I go to, not everything is bad, okay? But the part that is bad has got exponentially worse. And the point is because government that says, you know, the Democrat government says, oh, we're out to help the poor and the indigent and all this other stuff, is actually bilking them. My new motto for voting Democrat, vote Democrat so we can bilk the poor. It's absolutely lovely. Create more homeless, vote Democrat. Make housing more unaffordable, vote Democrat. All the laws for housing created by the Democrats, fire sprinklers in every home, Title 24, which is energy efficient stuff like roofs, solar panels, all the stuff required for new buildings, ridiculously high earthquake standards for homes that never had problems with earthquakes. I'm talking about these style single-story homes that were in areas where there was really, really bad earthquakes, survived with virtually unscathed, but they made those particular homes, single-story homes like these, or that's a two-story, but they made single-story homes in like the neighborhood that we've been driving through with ridiculously high standards, and that has all increased homes over $100,000 for just the building cost alone. They also put a tax on lumber called a lumber tax. If you go to buy lumber at Home Depot, that's when you're going to notice it. So yes, the Democrats caused a lot of this problem. Oh, Mike, it's not the Democrats. Oh, yes, it is, you guys. Just start researching the stuff that I'm talking about, and you will find out that your vote screwed yourself. That is, if you voted Democrat. There's still an opportunity to change that. You can actually start reading about stuff and learning about these laws and verifying the stuff that I say in these videos. And hopefully it will help you understand what's happening and why it's happening. So instead of just being ignorant, put your head in the sand, start learning about it, and maybe it'll help. Again, I don't think the Republicans are the perfect fix, but they're certainly marginally better than the Democrats. You have a state that's focused only on one party, what happens is it never has a chance to correct itself. And when you have two parties like we do in this country, and you utilize both parties, and the states have the opportunity where they have a close enough electoral where they could go either way, then it gives the ability to have some leverage for them to do the right thing. When it's all one party, you guys, what happens is they figure, oh, well, we got this down, so we can do whatever we want. And that's what they're doing. Realize that, guys. That's what's happening in the state of California. They know they're going to win, so they become entitled and they do whatever they want. We've watched it happen with Brown and Newsom. Just look at what's happened. Look at the homeless in this state. Look at how housing is so expensive in this state compared to anywhere else. And it's not just because it's in California. It's because of the laws created. Builders aren't building here anymore. I talked to a guy who worked for a builder in California. They were losing $80,000 a home on their last tract. They said, we are done. We are not building any more tracts in California. We're over it. And they're building in other states. They're not building here anymore because it's not profitable because of all the restrictions, all the code things. There's other things on top of that, as well as the building codes and hard costs. It's also the development costs because of democratic laws that were put into place. And all this equals higher housing costs and gets transfers to some people, homelessness, plus the drug use and the laws created from allowing criminals to get out of jail early or not have any penalty or very little penalty for doing something harmful and illegal to other people is what's been causing the problem. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. I have a hard time paying rent. The sign said something like that. Could use some help. It's kind of all of us, isn't it? little bit of advice. If you're having a hard time paying rent, maybe you should change your vote. There's an old saying, if you're doing things the same way over and over and expecting different results, it's kind of the definition of insanity, I think. Is that it? I think so. I'll just keep voting Democrat. Eventually it'll make things better somehow. They've only failed me 47 times, so maybe 50 it'll be okay. More than likely not. Ah, the lovely El Cerrito. It gets interesting over at this side of town. Let's look around and see what's going on in El Cerrito. I haven't been over here in years. I typically try and avoid most of these parts of town. I don't even go to Corona because of the traffic. In fact, the traffic in Corona is just disheartening. I think I'd rather go to Riverside where there's just tons more homeless. But yeah, I think I'd rather stay in Riverside than come out here just because of the loveliness of traffic. Oh, yeah, that's the land of the cars parked in the yard. And the liquor store with tons of graffiti on it. It's never been painted, probably ever. Looks like some sort of an adobe village over there that's really run down. And what's this? Yeah, Albert Tacos. They keep on changing the name of that place. Houses for sale, cars parked in the yard. It is absolutely just a golden gem. I don't think they painted that in at least 40 years. Love it. Lots of motorhomes for rent, but probably not that one. It looks like a respectable house. Hard to say, though. Around here, it's just hit and miss. Just a few houses have the no trespassing and beware of dog signs. That's fine. And you have to love traffic if you live on this road. Love it. Well, it seemed like 10 minutes I was sitting there to make a left. Second peek for you guys who didn't get it on the first one. And empty home, I think. Pretty darn sure. It's got like, what is that, a steel garage door? What in the heck is that? I don't know. Maybe it's an extra living quarters for people who just can't afford to live anywhere. Because of the lovely price of rents, because they started rent, as soon as they started rent control, it's so interesting. I mean, it had nothing to do with it, I'm sure. The price of rents went way up. The scenery is just lovely here. You know, just lots of cars, stuff everywhere. Love it. And lo and behold, they decided to incorporate this place because it's a little bit nicer than some of the other places. And there's this really nice shopping center with a few vacancies. Has absolutely nothing to do with California's friendliness to business, I'm sure. We'll make those companies pay. Well, they sure did, and they left. Closed. Toys R Us, whatever that's, Babies R Us, goodbye. And those have been closed a while, and no new tenants in place yet. I mean, they've been closed for years. Nobody to come take their place. This suite's been empty a long time. No new tenants, of course. And this suite's empty. No new tenants, of course. Thanks to California's friendliness to business, they just keep pushing them out. Make those companies pay! Those big rich corporations, they're taking over. Yeah, and now you don't have a job. Lovely. I'm surprised they have enough money to actually paint the buildings. That one's empty. The next one next to that's empty. The one in the corner, I think it's empty too. And so are these two. Lovely. Yeah, all of this is empty. Thriving. Mike, that's because Amazon's taking over the world, the big corporation of Amazon. No, it's because it costs too much to have a place in here to rent. Building codes, building permits, city licensing, state fees, all those things cost so much money for businesses. And you'd think that they would figure out, maybe we should promote business. No, we want to make them pay. Big, rich companies. Let's take their money. Well, guess what? They took their jobs and left. You need to have a government that works with corporations, not fights against them. You need to understand there's a balance between capitalism and socialism. It's not that one is 100% correct. You need capitalism to prevail with some socialist views. That's kind of what the Republican Party does, by the way. The new, I'm going to say, Democratic Socialist, or whatever it is, party, no, they just want to make them pay. Great idea. Worked really well for Corona. Used car, anyone? Yeah, you can enjoy that too in El Cerrito. Lovely. Oh, is that? Oh, I thought that said payday loans. Oh, too late. Bummer. That one's actually in Alberto's. It's kind of like guys cloned the name. They called it Albertitos. Really look at it carefully. It's pretty funny. Albert Taco, I saw that one once. I saw all different types of Albertos. They clone the name, use the same writing, and call it something different. It's just hilarious. Yep. This is where they are. Lovely trash pile. Absolutely just gorgeous. Watch for children. Wait, no. Watch for motorhomes, because somebody's living in that one. Well, this is lovely. A lot of the roads are dirt. I mean, my car is kind of dirty today. I didn't get a chance to wash it. I forgot to. I was on the way out here. And these are just absolutely beautiful homes. I mean, just gorgeous. And then there's this guy with a really nice lawn and an American flag. Thank you. I'm not sure what that means, but it must be pretty good, because his yard was great looking. Look at that, man. 4-plex out here. Ooh. Or 6-plex or whatever it is. And this home is absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that cool? No parking anytime. Probably because the motorhomes kind of find their way in there. Yeah. That car repair, anyone? Suppose you can always do it in the front yard instead of the back. Hopefully you can see that. You can always stop to man up at the barber shop. It's called Man Up Barbershop. Interesting. I think we should all step it up to a, what is this, a duplex or 4-plex? I'm not sure. In El Cerrito. Sure, it's absolutely crime-free. The yards are just epic. This one's concrete because they probably have 18 cars there at night. Yeah, it's lovely. It's great to be living in a state where housing is so affordable that people have to have 4 or 5 families living in one home. It's just great. Great, safe, and secure place to have a fence in your front yard to keep people out. Smile, you're on camera. Of course, I'm sure there's tons of very trustworthy people around this area. I mean, some of the properties are kind of cool. They're up on hills and stuff and kind of neat. But man, the shite down below just scares me to death. I'm just not so sure about it. A lot of construction work type of vehicles and things like that. You know, everybody's got to have a place to live. But it sure does have a kind of a, I don't know, a creepy feel about it. As the road narrows, it gets a bit strange, and I think I'm going to turn around here. It seems to be like one of those areas where you don't know whether you're on somebody's street or you're in a driveway or on the road. It's just all kind of blend together. That's a really nice home right there. I'm sure that the criminals don't like to go uphill, so maybe it's safe. Who knows? Another nice home with the yard's a little taken care of, I think. But I mean, what do you expect? It's kind of rural living, right? Gotta love all the dirt roads in this area. Oh, that garage, no driveway. Really strange. Don't know why they don't have a driveway. Who knows? It's just kind of weird. Interesting part of town called El Cerrito. Unincorporated, of course. You get their tax dollars for the state, for the city of Corona. Probably you have a Corona address and still, you know, live in whatever this is. See, there's a lot of like dirt roads and gravel. I don't really want to go down those, but it is quite an interesting area. So if you're looking for a cheap place to live in Corona, probably over here would be. And you could probably do a little bit of your own thing, work on your cars or whatever, that sort of thing. Probably tolerated pretty well through this area. So if you're looking for something like that, there is this in Corona. It's kind of interesting. Again, it's a bit, definitely on the downside a bit. But, you know, it is a place to live. If you can't afford it anywhere else, it's here. But I'll show you a little bit more about it. El Cerrito here, I think this is more of it up here ahead. I've never been down this area, actually. Actually, this area of El Cerrito is a little nicer. Huh. Nice looking lawn, no cars in the yard, American flag up. Maybe that means something good. Because this area in El Cerrito isn't so bad. Not like a few streets over, that was pretty sketchy, some of that area, where it gets up into the gravel yards and stuff. But this area looks like regular Corona to me. Ah, the American flag. Love it. Looks good. Except for that yard's a little run down. What's this here? Schedule a tour. I don't know what that is. It has a bunch of balloons outside. Looks kind of nice. This area right here is pretty nice in El Cerrito. So I say the part is more towards Lake Elsinore is a little on the weak side. This part of El Cerrito is not too bad. It actually goes up into the hills over here and look pretty good. So there is some good in El Cerrito. Well, except for that home. My God, what happened there? Looks like it was all boarded up and stuff. Weird. That whole street looks pretty good like the others. Not bad. So cool. There's some good parts of El Cerrito that I didn't know about. Nice. Alright, so we're going to head up one more exit over to Home Gardens and take a look at some more of the Home Gardens. You guys didn't get to look last time. There's some really interesting things over at Home Gardens, and I thought you guys might love to see some of the fun. So stick around. When I get through the next row of traffic, you're gotta love this. It's like this every day. And all the way through Corona, it is just lovely. You gotta love traffic if you live here. It has to be nothing better than a mobile home park in Home Gardens. I'm certain that it's absolutely the safest place to live. In fact, it might be better than some of the housing. So, I don't know. Never been in this place. But the motorhomes outside, parked on the side of the road, kind of tell a little bit of a story, and the cars with dents in them, and lots of cars along here tell me that maybe there might be some concern. You have to love California for making housing so expensive that people live in places like that. Isn't it great? Look at the car there, huh? The front end's never been wrecked on that one. How many cars are in that yard and driveway? In fact, the whole street's like that. There's the backyard, front yard, everything's covered in cars. So I got a question for you guys. Do you think all that trash right there is all for one family? My guess, probably not. From the looks of those fellers that passed me in that car, they did not look like they were very friendly kind of guys. Looked more like kind of a gang activity. This is the lovely Home Gardens, full of barred up homes, multi-families living in one house. Lovely stuff like this all the way through. Graffiti on the trash cans. Guys with hats on crooked, some sort of writing on them. And lovely tire shops. They're great. And plenty of liquor stores and that sort of thing. They're lovely. We didn't go through this part of town last time, but I thought it would be nice to kind of look at the variety of things. A little taco joint. Looks probably pretty good, but who knows. Anyway, oh my God, in the front yard and stuff like that is just epic through here. It is just frightening. Wow. The condition of the house all the way from front to back was epic. It looks like nobody ever picked up a piece of trash in that whole yard. Oh, that piece of trash isn't mine, that's yours. Because like they had like 3 or 4 tenants in one little house. So everybody's going, that's not my trash, I'm not picking up his stuff. Bars. Well, these homes here appear to be slightly better, but not by much. Wow. Park them wherever you can. Ooh, what is that? An old, some sort of off-road vehicle. They figured out how to widen their driveway on that one. Well, the Halloween decorations look pretty nice. Don't think I'd be trick-or-treating around here, though. Yikes. It looks scary. Man, some people have some pretty festive Halloween decorations, so that's okay. But the bars and fencing in the front yard kind of makes me a bit concerned. Well, if you don't have room in the driveway, I guess you could fix it on the street. Lovely. If you ever run out of driveway space, you can always use the boulevard. Quite interesting. I've never seen that one before. I guess, is that the sidewalk or not? I don't know. Really like construction looking stuff around, and I don't know. And then the vehicle's condition is kind of unsightly. Oh, Mike, you're just so terrible. You're talking about the construction workers. Look, I do construction and my truck is painted nice and looks good. I take care of my equipment, so don't go there. Some of these are not too bad. This is like the better side of town. The other side of town is definitely worse. Some people are just really lack of yard maintenance though, so it tells me maybe they're rentals and they don't really like to take care of the landlord's property. But this looks really lovely here with the car parked in the front yard. An old Volkswagen out front. Looks kind of inviting. Quite interesting. There's some nicer homes, and I think I had some sort of a badge on it. I'm not sure what he did for work. Maybe he was some code enforcement officer or something. I don't know. But Jesus criminy, pave it for God's sakes. That car was parked in the yard so often that it had like little stripes for it to go. But I mean, at least they did have their yard mowed. I can't really say anything too bad about that. It's just horrible when I see the state that makes things so expensive. Everything's so expensive. Oh my God, look at that. Right by the front door. If you can get it in there, might as well. But makes things so expensive that people live in motorhomes in a front yard, and that they have 4 or 5 families living in one home. It just disheartens you when a government doesn't really care, but just about raising their taxes, getting their money however they can get it, just to, and not really care about the people. You know, if you cared about the people, they would make building codes that made sense so the builders could build houses, not condominiums, not big giant 2 or 3 story homes, but regular houses like these that we're driving through, not those over there, but these particular ones over here that normal families can live in and have a place for the kids to play with, a yard and a normal life. But nope, we're going after tax dollars because we are interested in that. We don't care about our people. That's what's happening in California. It's really quite interesting. Some of these homes here are not so bad. And look at this guy. He's got his American flag. Nice looking tree house out front. Looks cool with the skateboard ramps. Really takes care of things. No trash there. There's just a lot of cars in here, through here though. It's just, what is that, an outhouse in the back? Interesting. Wow. Some of this stuff is just weird. Look at that. How many cars can you get in trucks in your front yard? It's just crazy. They must have more than one family. That's the only thing that rationalizes this type of parking. It just can't be anything other than there's just jam them in like sardines, get as many people as you can in one house, because housing is absolutely affordable at $1,700, $1,800 for an apartment. Houses for rent $2,500 to $3,000. Probably in this neighborhood, I'm guessing, I'm going to say probably about $2,500 to $3,000 a month to live in that neighborhood. The only way you can do that is with 2 or 3 families, really. And yeah, and people go, oh, well, it's not the government's fault. Absolutely it is. Absolutely. It's 100% their fault. You know, when you have a government that's all one-sided, they become entitled. They think they can do whatever they want to do. And guess what they do? Whatever they want. And they just totally do. They overlook what the people need. And they know they're going to win. So that's what happens. The only thing we can do as the people is to school them. Is to say, look, I'm not voting for you folks anymore. I'm not voting the left in again. And when we start doing that, we're going to see changes. Things that'll probably make sense in this state. So anyway, I think it's going to conclude my video for today and about Corona. Let me know if you'd like to see some more. There are some other areas I did not cover. But of course I didn't go to the really nice areas. And this one's kind of nicer. These are something called Four Seasons. Yeah, they're, you know, kind of one of those things where they have a shared pool and that sort of thing. And they're okay, but not too bad. And then it gets a little bit nicer in through here than the other stuff we were in, the stuff back there, which was pretty sketchy. All right, so anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let's see your comments, and let me know what you think either way.